Hey VC, it's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. Today I'm doing a entry into Robert Z's lottery. He has 10 questions that he put together, and let's see what happens here. All right, the first question is number one. It's getting to be December. It's getting to be party season, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And you get to invite 3 rock stars who are living or dead to your party. Who are you inviting? Well, to me, number one, I have to invite Buddy Holly. I mean, the guy died so young. I think they said by the time his first song was released and he died, it was 18 months. So amazing stuff put out in such a short time. I can't imagine what he would have done had he lived longer. So yeah, number one, Buddy Holly. Number two, I'm inviting to my party the great John Lennon. Again, literally shot down early in his career. A lot more could have been done. He was at one of his best times of his life, and his death affected me more than almost any other artist or musician for sure. So John Lennon is coming back from my party. And finally, the third one for my party, one of the great songwriters, is Hank Williams. I think having those 3 guys together, sitting around talking about music, writing and songs would be a great time. Love to see those 3 together. Number one. Number two, one song you never want to hear again. Could be wiped off the face of the earth and you wouldn't be sad at all. For me, it would be Fleetwood Mac, and it would be the song Go Your Own Way. Gone. Never want to see it again. Number 3, album you would like to hear again for the very first time. I've told this story before. I just graduated high school. I was getting ready to go to college. My neighbor, good friend of mine, calls me up and says, drop whatever you're doing, come running over. You got to hear this. So I ran over to his house. He played me this record, and our jaws literally hit the ground. And we'd never heard anything like it before. I'd love to be able to have that experience again. And speaking of experience, we're talking about the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the first album. Being there at that time, hearing this for the first time, is just, at that time, nothing had been sounded like that at all. Completely mind-blowing. So I'd love to have that experience, to hear this record again for the very first time, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Question number 4. Mount Rushmore. You're going to get a little tiny Mount Rushmore to put into your music room. You get 4 musicians to go on it. Who are those 4 musicians? Well, I could have gone a number of ways. I thought I could do pop, I could do folk, I could do jazz. But no, I got to go with the one genre that really is deepest and most heartfelt for me, and that's the blues. So, number 1 on my list on Mount Rushmore would be Robert Johnson. This is an album... Robert King of the Delta Blues Singers. There are 2, this one and there's another one came out later with all his recorded songs. So yeah, Robert Johnson for sure, number 1 on my Mount Rushmore. Number 2 on my blues Mount Rushmore would be the great Muddy Waters. He's a great album folk singer. What an amazing record. So yeah, Muddy Waters, number 2. Number 3, one of my personal favorites, is the great Howlin' Wolf. And to round off my Mount Rushmore would be the great boogeyman himself, John Lee Hooker. So there you go. That's my Mount Rushmore. Number 5. Do you have a theme song for your channel or theme? Well, I don't have a theme song, but my theme basically was, I started this channel a number of years ago when I saw a video where someone complaining about how expensive it is to enjoy this hobby. And I said to myself, no, if you spend the time and you go to Goodwill, you go to, at least this was 8 years ago, go to flea markets, go to yard sales or boot sales, and you spend the time and put the time in, you can put together a record collection without spending ridiculous amounts of money. It's a little harder today for sure, but there are still deals to be found out there, and you can still find records at a decent price if you put the time and energy into it. So that's why my channel is called The Cheap and cheerful because it should be fun. You shouldn't get stressed about it. You should enjoy looking for records and finding records. Number 6, you're going to have an epic concert, and you're the producer. You get to choose one band or artist from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Who are you choosing? Well, for me, the 60s is obvious. You got to go with Open the Show with Bob Dylan, and this is the Blonde on Blonde Bob Dylan. That's the Bob Dylan I want to see in concert again. So yeah, opening the show would be for me Bob Dylan. From the 70s, I'll go with a little different, and I'm going to go to Africa, and I'm going to go with Fela Kuti, and this is his album. What's the album called? Open and Close. The Africa 70 is the name of the band. So yeah, Fela Kuti, fantastic musician. Would have loved to seen him live. Oh my God, Fela Kuti, and the 70s. The 80s, coming back to America, and we're gonna take REM. This is their album Document. Love REM. I think they'd be great in concert to see, especially at this time when they were young and hot and just coming up. So yeah, REM would represent the 80s for me. The 90s, we'll go a different way. We're not doing jazz. We're not doing rock. We're not doing pop. We're doing Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Now, I know they formed in the 80s, but they really didn't become a thing until the 90s. And they're still recording, still giving shows. I've seen them twice. They both times give great shows. And I think if I remember right, they're still the same band from when they first formed, which is pretty amazing. This is a great album. Just came out on vinyl for the first time recently. And this is their album, just their opening, their first album, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, always fun in concert. And in the aughts, you know, I'm a little older, so I have listened to a lot of stuff, new stuff anyway, from the aughts and on. But this band, I bought a collection. He had 2 of these guys' records in them. I started listening to them. I really enjoyed them. And they were from the 2000s, and that's Dawes. And this is their album, Stories Don't End. So yeah, representing the 2000s, I'm choosing Dawes for my concert. So yes, that'd be my concert. Dylan, Fela Kuti, REM, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and Dawes. That'd be an interesting show to see for sure. Number 7, what will happen to your collection when you die? Well, now that I'm well into my 70s, that certainly has come up. It's something I don't dwell on it, but it certainly has come up in my thoughts. I'm luckier than most. My son is a musician and a record collector, so I know he will take my collection and he will enjoy it and he will go through it and listen to it, and I know it'll live a second life through him. My daughter also is starting to collect records, and I've gotten a couple things for her recently to get her started collecting. So between the 2 of them, I know my collection will be well taken care of and it will live another life, which really makes me feel good that that's not going to just be broken up and sent away to all different places. So that's really good. Number 8, what is a grail? Do you have a grail? I don't really have a grail at this point. I mean, there are records I'm missing in my collection, things I'd like to get, but it's not like a grail. But there are still deals and things to be had out there. As an example, a couple of weeks ago, I was with my friend Brian from Shamrock and Records, and we were up at a record store in Brunswick, Maine, and we're in the basement of the store just digging around. They didn't have anything set up in the basement. It was just everything, just extra stuff they had. And we're going through the shelves, and he found a Led Zeppelin II white label promo double RL. And that's $1,000 record. And it was just sitting there on the shelf, mixed in with everything else. So yeah, there are deals still to be had out there. Keep looking. There are grails out there. Number 9, your favorite artist of all time. For me, it's no contest. My favorite artist, and I think the greatest jazz artist of all time, is Thelonious Monk. I'm just a huge Monk fan. Lucky enough to see him in 1974, I think it was, or 75, Newport Jazz in New York City. They were kicked out of Newport for a number of years, and they had concerts in New York in the summer, and I got to see him at Carnegie Hall. So that was fantastic. And he just appeals to me. Love Monk. My absolute all-time favorite jazz artist or any artist in any genre is Thelonious Monk. And finally, if you win, what do you want? What don't you want? Well, I mean, I'll take anything. I'm happy to have any kind of music. If it's important to the person who's sending it, then that's good enough for me. I mean, I don't listen to rap or hip hop. I have no metal. Not interested in that kind of stuff. But if that's what I win, I would be glad to take it, listen to it. Maybe I'll change my mind and I'll become more of a fan. But besides that, I have pretty eclectic taste, and it'd be amazing to win. But if not, that's fine. Just it's fun doing the video by itself. Okay? I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And until next time, peace.